So an awesome community member, Terry McCartney, donated some pavers that she'd been holding on to for quite some time, and we're going to use them to build an herb spiral.
There you go. Yay.
My name is Marlena Antonucci. I'm the Valley Educational Gardens Initiative Director. When I was a young girl, my family didn't have many resources, and so I didn't play sports or do a lot of after-school stuff, but I would go in early to school and I'd spend time with my art teacher.
Yeah, I can certainly find a million things to do with pavers. So an herb spiral is, just what you would imagine. It is a spiral that is 6 feet wide and 3 feet tall. And so what we would do is use the bricks to kind of create that, the shape of the spiral, and then we fill it in with dirt. And so the point of this is to grow intensively in a small space by growing upwards.
My art teachers were always, these great mentors in my life that were giving me opportunities and really helping me to find my path and my individual identity. When I got to college, I really, felt a little lost and wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and so I just kept studying art. It was something I loved, and I had enjoyed it up until then, and so I studied art history. And in my studies, I discovered our botanical gardens.
Do we want to come up with a veggie handshake?
That would be pretty fun, I think.
What would this look like?
Okay. Carrots growing.
Carrots growing.
Except that carrots grow like this.
Can we offer our carrots and into a hand? And then throw it over our shoulder?
Carrots growing. We offer it in.
Veggie!
Okay, be like,
So fun.
I graduated and was invited back to go to grad school, still studying art history. And at this point, I started to feel really disenchanted by this academic path. So I started thinking more about my interests in gardening and how I could marry that with the art historical work that I was doing. And I brought this today, but I discovered this catalog, Green Acres, Artists Farming Fields, Greenhouses, and Abandoned Lots. It was this is an exhibition catalog for an exhibit that was at the Lois and Richard Rosenthal Center for Contemporary Art in Ohio. So I kind of cracked open this world that married my two loves, art history and farming.
So I was talking to one of the past directors, Claudia, about gardening, because so much of this is like, I take on as like a personal ego, like this is a representation of me, and then I have to stop and be like, no, this is a representation of the community and the like work and effort that we put into it. And so I was sharing that with her, and she was like, yeah, this is a living art. And so I think if we like approach this every day as like a creative space, a living art, then like we could make this a space, that people would want to engage with.
Sure, totally.
My mentor sat down with me one day and she was like, no one's hiring you, you've been applying for 6 months, what actually do you want? And that evening I found the Rio Grande Farm Park was hiring an AmeriCorps Vista, and it felt like I just created this job out of thin air. So I've never been so confident in an interview. And fortunately, Julie Mordecai took me on, and I came to Alamosa not knowing anything about it. And I basically created my life here.
So this is as close as we're going to be to this raspberry.
Okay.
So that's pretty close. We might need to trim that or transplant it. But this is what we got with our space, so we'll make it work.
The other day, a friend of mine was asking me if I missed my work in the art world. And I had a quick answer, but I sat with it for a while and I thought about it. And I don't miss the art world at all. I am so happy to be in this space. particularly because I can take my skills of critical thinking and my knowledge of, these outrageous projects that are connected to farming, and I recognize that that could be a reality here. So I think I'm taking my background in art history and using that as a license. I'm using my background as a license for creativity and experimentation in farming.
I think we're kind of done. We can clean off the pavers if you want.
We just built that whole thing. We just did that. We just did that whole thing.
Cool.
Aw, you guys.
I'm really proud of us. Yeah, and we used every single paver.
So I think in a grander scale, gardening teaches us how to be good stewards, and as the best version of a human that I could imagine myself to be, that is a person of service and a steward to my neighbors and my land.
Offering it up.
VEGI! Cool. It's so fun.